I remember I was in Bombay because I had to go to Mumbai VFS office to collect my passport. It wasn't disclosed. It was a package. I opened it right there with full of excitement. I was looking for a stamp on my passport. I was flipping pages. I couldn't find one. And then I see this letter of rejection. I'm like, oh my God.
So, Vaibhav, I'm sure premium dining experiences was not your initial passion or ambition. What was it that you really wanted to be when you were in school?
I think as far as I could remember, I wanted to be a fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just 0.6 centimeters of overheight, you were rejected.
So they said fit for Army and Navy, unfit for Air Force.
Okay.
A small city boy who always wanted to fly. From living in Bhopal to now living in the fashion capital of the world, one of the greatest cities known to man.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I think before I made it, it was again a difficult journey. So I wanted to pursue that MBA, but I did not know that MBA wanted me or not.
So could you tell us what is Michelin all about and how does Michelin rate its chefs and restaurants?
Sure, I don't know if a lot of people would know. Michelin is a French tire manufacturer company. They make tires, that's their main product.
What all chefs have been a part of Conosh till date?
We have a lot of chefs on our roster.
In an ideal world, if there were no limits, no budget constraints, no logistical challenges, what would the ultimate Conosh experience look like?
I think all the great experiences you want to hold on to are the ones you realize are slipping away in the moment.
So, I really want to know what is the most important lesson that you learned while connecting people about people.
That everybody has a story which needs to be heard, and they're looking for the right person to share it with.
Where do you see the entire experience economy of India going in the next 5 years?
I think just in the direction where people will have good experiences to choose from at a given point of time.
For somebody just tuning into the podcast, what message or learning would you give them to retain their attention?
Well, if you're joining right now and you want to know how to crack into a new ecosystem and make it there, some cheat codes are about to be disclosed.
Okay, so Vaibhav, we really want to know for our viewers, what is it that you do? What is Conosh all about?
So I run a very interesting startup. I am the co-founder of Conosh. We are a brand for culinary learning and experience dining. So we work with all the international chefs. We get them to India. We do these amazing dinner experiences, which everyone could be a part of. We do online classes. So everybody who's into learning what about food they don't know. So to know cooking, baking, or anything related to it, we hold these classes and you can learn how to cook and bake. So
Okay, so Vaibhav, I'm sure premium dining experiences was not your initial passion or ambition. What was it? What was it that you really wanted to be when you were in school?
I think as far as I could remember, I wanted to be a fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think soon after I finished my school, and even now I'm thinking what made me go into that stream. I think my cousin was in the army, and I think that was my lure into the armed forces.
Yep.
Right, his entire training, he used to come back home on vacation and used to tell about how was the training going, what are the challenges. So I think that entire officer-like life really lured me into pursuing.
So did you do your
defense.
NDA exams and all?
Yes. So I think I did it without telling my family.
So if my sources are correct,
Yeah.
you were part of the top 100 candidates in India.
I was. I think my rank was 65 for Indian Air Force, and I was the only one from my city, so I'm from Bhopal, who made it to the Indian Air Force.
और घर पे नहीं बताया था एग्जाम देने से पहले?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Because obviously, because one child from the extended family was in the defense, right? And people who know the system inside out, they don't want more people to come in. But that's everywhere, right? So, there was not a lot of motivation or support for me to go into defense. So I think me and I think two of my friends, we just decided that let's not tell at home and just go for one day for this exam. So we just gave. I had no clue that I'll pass that exam because without preparation, it was an impulsive decision. I just went and gave the exam, and when the letter came, so India Post does it for a lot of people,
So what was that journey like? Without preparation,
Yeah.
cracking top 100.
Yeah.
That's incredible. What was that like?
I don't know. I think if you have ambition, if you have the drive, then you just do things. And that is that age. I was very clueless. I was just a lot of people know what do they want to do in life. I was very aware about what I don't want to do in life, which is also a good thing to do.
Nice.
I didn't want to be an engineer because as I grew up, everybody around me was doing engineering. And I always wanted to be different from the people around me. I think that is what set me into doing things which I'm still doing. So yeah, everybody was an engineer. I thought I don't want to be. I saw NDA as not an escape mechanism, but something which I could do and still be different. So yeah, I did not tell at home, went for this written exam. I think after some weeks, a letter arrived that I've cleared it. I'm like, oh shit. I need to now tell at home because the next step was I need to go to another city for this process called SSB, which is I think one of the most difficult exams you can go through. It's called Service Selection Board. It's a 7-day process where you're tested for all your skills, be it your emotional intelligence, your IQ, your physical attributes, strength training, anything you can think of that a human body is capable to be tested for at that age, you go through that.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, because it's so tough, there are rejections all the time. So the process said that you can come back on day 1, you can come back on day 3, and then on day 7 after if you're selected. So when this letter came, I had a discussion at home, like, now I need to go. And they were still like, they're very confident I wouldn't make it. So then they were like, okay, go. Do it. Once you're not selected, this will all die down. So I asked, my dad asked me, so what date of reservation do I get it done for you?
Your passion had to be really strong.
It
Because
was,
for
I think. Yeah.
somebody who, your family's belief in you has to be a very important factor.
Yeah, the belief was that I won't make it.
So your passion. has to be
Either
really
way,
strong.
it's fine, right? So the answer to my father's question was, I told him, just day 7. Get me a single reservation because I was very sure that I'll come back only after getting selected. And
So
that
which
is
city
what
was this? You are from Bhopal.
I'm from Bhopal, and so all of the different streams. So Army has, you can apply for Army, Navy, or Air Force, and all of these streams have different selection boards. So Air Force has, I think, 4 or 5, but mine was Varanasi. It was called 4 AFSB Varanasi. Yeah, where you're tested, especially for Air Force candidates are tested there.
Mhm.
So I went there, right after school, out of school, you're going to a new city on your own. It was slightly overwhelming, but I think I was thoroughly enjoying that process.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So I reached there, and preparation, I'll say, is the key to my success because it was a new thing, it was a new genre. And I think to play any game, you need to know the rules of the game.
Hmm.
That I learned then because I did pursue coaching for NDA.
Okay.
Yeah, for the SSB.
Okay.
And it was only because I wanted to be aware what I'm getting into, right? Straight out of school, a new thing, and nobody tells you what it is.
Mhm.
So that is one thing my brother advised me, my cousin who's in army, like if you really want to do it, be aware, right? So the coaching was more to get aware about what am I getting into, what I'll be tested for, right? Not preparing me for getting tested, like, not teaching me what to do, but to telling me what you'll go through.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think that preparation is the key to, I think, any success. So those 7 days were very life defining for me.
Yeah, I really want to know what happened in those 7 days.
You are getting to know yourself. First time you're in a social setting, in a highly competitive setting. And I got to know then that this was very impulsive of me. I just got up one day, gave the exam, came to Varanasi. People prepare for this exam for years. They prepare for SSB for years.
Okay.
You can give, I think, 6 attempts to SSB.
Okay. 6 attempts.
6 attempts. People get themselves admitted into army institutes so they can get ready for this day. So all of this I got to know when I met people who were like really cutthroat, competitive, that this is what they have been striving for all their life. And this is, me coming in and saying I want to try for it. So got to know that and made a lot of friends. I think that comes very naturally to me. I'm a very people's person. There are people who get energy out of their surroundings from people, or the energy is taken out. You are either one of those two people. I think I am the person who really gets more energy in the company of right people.
Right.
So I made great friends there. And I think everybody by the end of fifth day was very confident about me getting selected, and I don't know why. People should be very confident about themselves, but the days progressed. You need to pass physical examinations, sports, a lot of storytelling, being positive. I think being positive is a big attribute in passing SSB. So I clearly remember they show you different slides, and you need to build stories on that to test your mindset. And you have to do it, I think, in some seconds. Like the slides keep on changing. And one of that was, the setup was a field, fire, and I think 2 kids. 2 human figures there, right? Now this is a natural recipe for a forest fire, right? Something which is very negative, right? Destruction happening. And I remember what I wrote about it was that in a village, people are getting educated on how to firefight.
Oh.
It's a very simple example of how you see different perspective, right? So you're tested on these subconscious elements in you. Nobody can prepare you for that, right? So when I said preparation, nobody will tell you when you see this picture, think of that. But that you're going to go through a process where you will be time bound, you have to be quick in your response and be positive, is what you can learn. So so these aspects, and by the 7th day, I was sitting there, they were announcing the final people getting
you
selected.
were there till the 7th day?
I was there till the 7th
Nice.
day, and when they were calling out the final people selected, you know what I was thinking? So we were sitting in benches, and I think 4 in a row, we were all sitting. My chest number was 31, and they reached till 28, right? Like chest number 1 selected, 14 selected, 28 selected, and you know what I started thinking? Should I go from the left side or right side? That was the only thing in my mind. I was very sure my name will be called out.
This is a masterclass in psychology. Why and how were you so sure?
I think both internal and external factors. Internal is because I really manifested it, I believed in it, right? When you believe in it, you have to blindly believe in it that you will make it. And then other people saw it through, all the other candidates, because they kept on saying, I think from day 3 when we became friends, they're like, just number 31 will make it. When I saw everybody else talking about me and that confidence they saw, I'm like, okay, if I see it and everybody else see it, the board can definitely see it. So I think that was it. And and they finally called my name, and you know, I was just in my mind, should I step from the left side or the right side? So I did that. I went there and stood there. So that was, I think, my first big career achievement. You know, I really lived that moment. Yeah.
So you were selected as an Air Force pilot?
A cadet in the
cadet,
National
okay.
Defense Academy, who will be going under training for Air Force. Yeah, and when you join, you're called a trainee fighter pilot. So
What happened then?
So after you're done SSB, I came back home. That was also the first time I missed my train in life. Because people, as I told you, I got my reservation done for day 7. But I did not know that after getting selected, you need to sign a bunch of papers, right? So they made us sit in a room, and I was just signing papers and documentation that, 5 minutes to my train, they said, okay, now you can go. I went to the station, I saw my train going. I'm like, this is the first time in my life I missed my train, but I got something great out of it. So
For all the good reasons.
yes. So came home, everybody was happy.
So yes, I want to dive down deeper into what your parents said.
Yeah.
So from them not thinking you could make it
Yeah.
to you making it,
Yeah.
what was that like at home?
They were slightly upset.
Upset?
Yeah.
Okay.
They must be happy, but I don't know how's the case in a lot of other Indian families. But in our family, the communication, was not very open. The expression of happiness, the expression of sorrow, everything, we were trained to keep it to ourselves. And that's how we are all raised, I assume.
Yeah, that's
Or I'm
a
the special person, I don't know.
typical
Yeah.
analogy of North Indian families.
Exactly. So in their hearts, they might be happy that I did something good, but they didn't want me to go still. And sadly, that was the time when Rang De Basanti released as well, and we all went to see that.
That
movie.
thought was going in my mind. Yes.
Yeah. And after coming out of the movie, my mom was clearly like, "You're not going to the Air Force."
Yes.
So Indian families are all about emotions, and Bollywood takes a center stage somewhere.
It does.
So it took some fair share of decision making in our house about should I go to the Air Force or not. So they were not very happy about it. But my dad said, okay, let's go for medical and let's go with the process. We still have time to decide. You also think about it. Went to Delhi for my medical. Did that. Very strenuous process for Air Force. because for different streams, Army, Navy, and Air Force, you're tested for different medical things as well, right?
Right.
So I think eyesight and all of these things. My sitting height, so they make you sit in a cockpit-like setup, and your sitting height has to...
In a proper jet?
More of a
Fighter
simulator.
jet, or
No, it's a simulated
okay, it's
setup.
like a
Like, yeah,
simulation.
it's the
Okay.
same size of seat, and you need to sit there. And the sitting height to be, the max is 96 centimeters.
Centimeters, yeah.
Yes, I was 96.6.
Oh God.
Yes, so they plainly rejected me, and I was super upset.
So after all this 7 days of
SSB. You come back, you go for medical again, which is again for 4 or 5 days, and they give you a
and just
report.
0.6 centimeters of overheight, you were rejected.
So they said fit for Army and Navy, unfit for Air Force.
Okay.
So for factors beyond your control, आपका एक
Yes.
बचपन का सपना था.
Yeah,
For factors you couldn't control,
yeah.
you couldn't get selected. What did that make you feel?
I rejected it. I
You rejected
rejected
it.
their
So you
decision.
didn't take Army and Navy.
No, I rejected their decision of declaring me unfit.
Okay.
I fought back. I said I'll appeal to your decision. I
Okay,
don't
you
believe
can fight back.
Yes. So I appealed, which is not a usual case. People don't appeal the military hospital there. So I appealed. I wrote to them. They wrote back to me. They're like, okay, let's do a second medical. They agreed for that. I think I went bald. I cut all my hair. I thought I have to save every millimeter of height
course.
I could, right? Sat in that chair again. 5 different doctors came, people who take measurements. They took a reading, took an average. By God's grace, they cleared me.
They
said,
did.
yes. They said it could be a technical error, a human error
Nice.
in measurement or whatever. They said, okay. And while I was sitting on the chair, I was just pleading them, like, please clear me. This is my passion. This is my dream. And they were making me realize, even if it's 2 millimeter more, it's for your own life's sake. You know, and I think that was a time when we were hearing about all of these MiG-21s crashing. A lot of them used to happen, right? So the only thing you can do that time is press the eject button if you're the pilot. So before, it's very simple. Speed is equal to distance upon time, right? Before that cockpit will open, your seat ejects. So if it's not fully open, your head will be chopped.
Oh God.
So you have to be under 96, so it can open fully, and then you go out of that seat. So if it's more, it's 0.2 m. They said they have had cases where it was 96.2 and the pilot's head was chopped. So they said it's for your own goodwill, for your own life. We are saying. I said I don't care. I need to go there. I need to pursue this. So eventually they passed me. I was super happy. I joined NDA in Pune, Khadagwasla. And, mid-training we have medicals. They're routine medicals again. So I think in that it was questioned that my height was more before. How did it reduce? And we'll again do the medical for you. And all of these things led to showing me that I will be shifted from Air Force back to Army and Navy. Right? Because a re-medical there will be some more difference. And, it's always a measurement. There can be averages. So it can be more or less. So I think our entire committee sat down to explain me it's okay, right? Do these 3 years of NDA. Then the last year you are trained specifically for Air Force, Navy or Army. Till then you decide what do you want to do, Army or Navy. I said you can put me in the flying branch of Army or Navy. So I can fly choppers, but for Army or Navy. So they barred me from the flying branch itself because of my height. So I couldn't fly for any of the defense forces.
So you didn't do your 3 years of NDA?
No.
In the first year itself,
Yes,
okay.
because this happened, and then they asked me, I said, what's the use of going through such a rigorous training with nothing in your sight, right? If you have a goal in mind, you can go through, endure any amount of hardships, trainings. But if I'm confused, I cannot go ahead. So they called my parents to NDA. My parents stayed there. I'll go through my training every day. Evening, a committee will sit down. A counselor will sit down, my parents will come, they'll all convince me to opt on papers for Army or Navy. So this thing is sorted for once. And nobody could convince me. And eventually then I had to resign. And I remember we were all sitting at the Pune station and waiting for our train. And I still get a call. And they're like, we have sent a jeep to the station. If you still feel you want to come back and join Army or Navy, this is your last chance. After this, you'll never be able to join defense again. And my parents, you won't believe, were still telling me, pick up your suitcases, go and sit in that jeep and go. And I said, this is about
Okay,
me.
now this time they were telling you to go back. Okay.
Yeah, because, okay, by this time, their mindset changed that it will be a government job, And then they lived through the academy. They saw how prestigious being in defense is.
And the risk of flying a fighter jet was also taken away.
It was, yeah. All of this overshadowed those risks.
It was the best of both worlds.
It was the best of both worlds for me, but I think one was taken away. So, they were pushing me, go and sit in that jeep. I'm like, I'm not. And that is the one time I remember I was being mean, but I think I need to fight for myself, not for what my parents aspire me to be, having a set government job, but I didn't go.
That's great level of emotional intelligence for somebody who's probably 18, 19, 20 at that point in time.
Yeah.
To have such a stubborn mind or a strong mind to defy what your parents are thinking.
Yeah.
Because as part of the Indian ecosystem, we are wired to listen to our parents up until, age
Till
of
now.
30 and beyond. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's
So
never
for
an
you
ending
to
age
be,
for that.
exactly,
Yeah.
for you to be 18, 19, 20 at that point of time,
Yeah.
and have a clear vision of what you want to do and what you don't want to do, as you said.
I think even here, what I don't want to do
is
was very clear.
The awareness.
right. So, how would you say you had such a strong mindset at that point of time?
I think we were all very focused. There were no phones, right? No WhatsApp, no Instagram for us. All we had to do to entertain was overthinking.
Oh, yes.
Introspecting and overthinking. I think, you have you to talk to. You talk long enough, you get answers. You don't talk to yourself, you talk to your friends. I mean, it was a very real world scenario we're all living in, right? And
That's true.
the social media part of what we engage in right now is all a fantasy. So I think I'm so thankful that all through my school life and adulthood, in the beginning, these distractions were missing. So I had all the time to be self-aware. Right now, we are more aware about other people, of what they're doing. And since that distraction was not there, we had no other option but to be self-aware. So very thankful for the time, I think.
I'm sure this would have been heart-crushing for you, but what did you do after that?
Came back to the city. So when I went, it was a lot of chatter about, the only guy from Bhopal who made it, newspaper articles, small interviews. It was a big deal for a small city boy to do it. When I came back, it was as much a bigger deal. Everybody got to know. And, people assume that the taller you are, the better it is for Air Force. So I had to tell everybody. And the lack of awareness about this entire thing made people question me on my statement. They're like, are you sure about it? Because people who come back from defense training are the people who cannot go through it. So it was a very indirect way of people telling me, okay, we've heard your story, but we know you couldn't go through it, so you're back. So I think that was the most heartbreaking aspect, that my truth was not recognized as the truth, right? It was not spoken long enough that people could know that was the entire truth. So I think that was the only time I went into deep depression. I think because I used to sit at home. I'll go out and talk to people and they'll be like, oh, so you've come back from this training, what happened? You explain to them, they don't believe you. You try and fight for that entire thing, but people don't believe you. So what you do is you shut yourself. If nobody is listening to you, they don't trust your words, then you stop meeting those people. And it's a small city, you know everybody. So I just sat in my home and stopped socializing, stopped going out. I think my parents figured out that I need to pursue engineering. I said, okay, why not? And I used to just go to coaching and come back. I think preparation and come back, that's it. Yeah, but it was not the best time, I think.
So you did give your AIEEE and all that? The
I
engineering
did.
entrance exam?
Yes, I did. Because I think your spirit is slightly bogged down, right, when all of this happens. And I was to always question why, right? I'm mostly a why not guy. Like if you ask me to do something or you propose something, I'd be like, why not? Let's give it a try. I think that was the only time I was sitting and thinking on the why aspect of why it happened. What was the main reason? So I was not focusing on that I went through it and I'm back. I was focusing on why it happened. There must be a bigger reason, right? Sometimes you get the answers later on in life. I think I was slightly impatient. I wanted the answers then and there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was preparing for IEEE, and I think in between, half the people knew I'm back, half of my friends did not. So I think one of my friends, she called home, I think maybe just a casual call to speak to my parents, and I picked up the call. And she's like, "Oh, you're back." I'm like, "Yeah." And we just had a conversation, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she was full of energy. She's like, "I'm at this place, institution called NIFT." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've heard about it." And
NIFT.
NIFT, so National Institute of Fashion Technology. And the next sentence, what she said, I think stayed with me. She's like, "I don't know if you know this, but I totally believe that this is a place for you. As much as I know you, you will blossom at this place." I'm like, "Okay, if you're saying that," she's like, "if you're giving other competitive exams, try and give the entrance for NIFT as well."
So at this point of time, your first ambition was fueled by passion.
Yeah.
Your second ambition, which you're about to get into,
Hmm.
that wasn't fueled by passion. That was fueled more by somebody else who knows you and understands you.
I think they restirred that passion. So as I told you, one of my cousins was in the army. My second cousin, she was a fashion designer.
Okay.
Right. So as a kid, and she had a boutique. I used to go and spend time there, right? I used to love how she used to sketch any apparel to convince to the client, go through designs. I used to play with fabrics. So as I look back, I've always seen these indirect references present. So when an opportunity comes, there was already something in that zone happening. So when my friend told me about NIFT, I was like, yeah, I mean, creative space. I love that space already, but I never thought I'll make it a profession. As a professional decision, yes, I never thought of it, but I mean, for leisure, why not?
You wanted to learn.
Yes. So I think I gave all my competitive exams, and I also gave NIFT. The only decision making which required some attention was, I think, one of the main exams in NIFT was on the same day.
Okay.
And again, my parents were like, "You have to go for the bigger entrance exam and not NIFT." So I did not tell them. And I took my decision and I went for the NIFT entrance exam. And made it again, I think, under 100 in a national level exam. Those are the convincing points for my parents that, okay, you can do something. So if you're capable of cracking an under 100 rank in any of the things you're doing, you might as well pursue it. So again, mom was not very convinced. And she thought, in India, I think that's the general mindset, fashion is not a stream for guys. It's more female driven, right? But I had to convince them it's an engineering. So my degree was called BFTech, Bachelor's in Fashion Technology.
Okay.
That was a saving grace, I think. So I think they got convinced somewhere down the line. And then I started my journey in NIFT Bombay.
Cool. So you did your graduation in NIFT in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Okay. After that?
After that, I joined Madura Fashion and Lifestyle, which is a company with Aditya Birla Group.
Birla, yeah.
Yeah. I joined there as a management trainee. I was just going with the flow. I thought now I stick to, with how things are happening as well. If I try and take charge, I took charge of my situation. Didn't work out, so let me go with the flow for once. And NIFT was great. It was a good place. I mean, figured out a lot of creative aspects about more self-awareness about what I enjoy in life more. And I trusted the professors, I trusted the seniors. They said, what are the companies good and, what should I strive for? So I joined as a management trainee in Madura Fashion and Lifestyle. New world, completely new world. I mean, you study something. It's with all professional institutes, right? You go for your graduation, but when your first big job, it's something else, right? So I think very defining as well. Really loved working. For me, it was like I used to have fun for 30 days and get paid for that. That was a dream job. So my first job was a dream job for me. And that's why I think it went for 3 years of having great fun, making great connections. It's only that somewhere down the line, my aspirations were always beyond what my plate, allowed me to have. So I used to work for a fast fashion brand, and we used to have these brand presentations, and I'll always benchmark luxury brands, right? And my managers used to never understand that, you are working in a fast fashion setup. Why are you benchmarking luxury brands? But my natural aspiration was that. It went for 3 years. I mean, I made a good balance about taking great inspiration from luxury and getting fast fashion and luxury together. But I think after the end of 3 years, my manager, she really identified my penchant for luxury. And she was like, you know what? You should pursue this more. If you're so much into it, why don't you pursue it more? It will be narrowing down your skills, fashion and luxury. I said, sure. So I started looking for my master's courses because I thought I need to study more. I need to have more education in this. And I think I went through a lot of courses. And one day I came across this MBA in luxury brand management. I think it was a 4-line description. I read that. I'm like, this is exactly what I want to do. And I started pursuing that. So it was called MBA in Luxury Brand Management in ESIC, which is an institute in Paris.
A small city boy who always wanted to fly, from living in Bhopal to now living in the fashion capital of the world, one of the greatest cities known to man.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I think before I made it, it was again a difficult journey. So I wanted to pursue that MBA, but I did not know that MBA wanted me or not. You know, all of these global MBAs, they are very particular about who they want as a candidate, because what you get on the table is more important to them what they teach you. And it was a very strenuous process again. I mean, I had to give my GMAT, and then there was an interview. And I thought interviews are easy, right? You talk to people. I did not know that there were people flying in from different parts of the world to interview me, because that's how specific they are on who do they want in their MBA. So I remember that my interview was in Taj Mahal Hotel in Mumbai, and there were 2 people from L'Oreal Lux who had flown from Paris. I think one gentleman from Germany was there. It was a panel of 5 people. I don't remember now where else they came from, but all different people from different countries. I'm like, wow, this is serious. You know, it's just an MBA. Why are people flying in from different parts of the world to interview? And the only question which, you know, they were all concerned about, apart from the usual questions, was, but how will you make it? You don't know French. You don't speak French. Yeah, it's a new city, and it was my first international travel. Right? I hadn't gone and been exposed to a global atmosphere before. So they were very concerned. I'll be meeting people from different countries, haven't traveled abroad even once, I don't speak the language. How am I going to make it? Right? Grades, assignments, everything they were okay with, right? Academic speak, but they were more concerned about every day passing by. And I think I took a pause and I looked back and I said, food. I said, you know what? I'll make friends over food. I said, I cook good food. I like great food, and I've made friends over food before. So I'm sure I'll bond over people with food. So this was my answer back then as well. So when I tell you I see food as a consistent part appearing always. So that it appeared in my interview for my MBA. So, and they got convinced. They said, okay, we trust you then. And it was a very light-hearted moment when I said that. So they said, okay, we trust you to make it then. So yeah, I joined ESIC then, yeah. How was it? I think that was the best decision I've ever taken in my life, because again, my parents didn't want me to do this MBA. They didn't see it necessary, right? They thought I should get married because I was already in a plush job, and yeah, as every other Indian parent thinks, the child should be settled as soon as they start earning.
This is, I think, again where that classic question comes in: what not to do?
What not to do. So I was clear, no, I don't need to settle down at this point of life. I need to pursue. It was an expensive MBA. I think that was also, financial decision making was also a constraint here.
And living in Paris also is expensive.
Exactly. So, you know, they asked me I should do my MBA. They're not against MBA, but eventually it was like, why such an expensive MBA in the most expensive city in the world? And I mean, I had no option, right? Fashion and luxury, the core of it exists in Paris. That is the home ground. So, yeah, I mean, we did settle on things on like, my parents were like, we cannot afford to send you to this MBA. And I was very calm. I remember this was a video call we had, me having a FaceTime with my parents. I think a first serious call happened where we were very expressive. And they said, look, we're very sorry, but we cannot afford to send you to that MBA. I'm like, that's okay. I'll take an education loan. So I was like totally not feeling what they were saying. I was my eyes were on the prize still. I was like, it's okay. I'll do what I can. And like, can you help me in that? They said, yeah, we can do that. So yeah, that was the middle ground we came at. And then on this education loan, I went for this MBA.
So do you think the idea for Conosh, your current company that you founded, was coined at the time of that interview with those 5 people from all over the world, like connecting people over food?
I think that time I was not very aware that could be a defining moment. But yeah, when I look at the rushes, that is a foundation.
You reflected back.
Yes, yes. It was a very impulsive answer, a very non-thoughtful answer. That if I have no ammunition on how to make it, food will help me. And when
I'm sure you made a lot of friends over food in Paris.
I did. In fact, so we used to live in a student dorm. One kitchen, it's a small setup, 1 BHK studio with a kitchen. I used to cook to save money, and obviously because I loved cooking as well. And I used to open the door because it was a small studio and then cook. And obviously the flavors were all very fragrant, and the entire corridor would smell. So everybody passing by,
Indian recipes,
and everybody passing by would take a halt and like, hey, what are you cooking? I'm like, I'm cooking this and that. I'm like, do you want to have it? They're like, sure. Eventually it was like people just trying out from the pan and cooking, and it went to me laying tables in the corridor and having a small pop-up where I'm cooking and people are having food.
Okay, so Conosh was already started there.
Yes, in some ways. In some ways, yeah.
And coincidentally, food is a big part of the French culture also.
It is. Yeah. But there were people from all over. Right? There were a lot of French population in that MBA, but people from different countries as well. And if everybody was interested in, making or having a conversation over food, it was more of a validation that it's not just my Indian mindset thinking that, we all bond over food, right? I mean, yes, in my family or in all other families, when you're sitting on a dining table, you're talking about the next meal you're going to have. And I thought it was just us. But no, everybody sitting together over food is just discussing food, right? The past experiences, the future experiences they have to do. So it kinds of gets you closer to each other.
Great. So, was your MBA successful after taking all those education loans and everything?
Well, I made it a point to make it successful because I had no other choice, right? I put my life at stake, came to a new country, and I had no other option but to make it, which I did. So, focused on studies, focused on networking, making the right connections, doing a good job of what I was told to do. Eventually, I landed a job, which is what I came for.
In Paris?
Yes, a dream job, in fact. I remember I did my final project with Christine Dior Couture, and they were very impressed with what, as a group, we did. But I think the COO was there, and he was like, the Indian guy is really good. I want to meet him.
The CEO of Christian Dior.
The COO
of Christian Dior was present at...
Yes, there was a presentation of 30 people from Dior.
And he particularly pointed out about you.
Yes. And that was not done in front of me. So obviously my dean was there in the discussion which happens after the presentation is done. And they were very happy. And it was a private discussion which she later shared with me. They really said that the Indian guy was really good. And hence they asked me for an interview to come for a job the next day.
Oh, nice.
So I did that. I went. The interview went well. And it was a dream situation, After interview, the global HR of Dior, she told me, okay, we want to offer you a job. Which country do you want to work in? And again, very unprepared. I think I took a moment and I said London. And it was a very quick decision making, all the factors, language, culture, family, all of that. So I just said that in the blink of a moment. She was like, yeah, it sounds good to me as well. We'll start your process. So I was very happy, after this entire expensive MBA, I actually landed a good job, a dream job.
Yeah.
A dream job in a country where I was given a choice to choose, right? A good position to be in. And came back to India. Everybody is happy, parents are happy, preparing for my stint in London. My Masi stays in London, so I was very happy that I'll have some family as well. And I was prepping. I sent 2 of my suitcases to London already, because my Masi was traveling to London. I said, okay, let me start prepping for it. And I think Dior started a process for officially trying to integrate me into the London office. For that, there are two things. You need to have a work permit and you need to have a work visa. Work permit is something which they do as a preliminary step where, so I got a 5-year work permit, I remember. I was very happy. And that is the most difficult thing. After I got that, I was like, now I'm surely going to London. This job is going to happen. And after a few days, I got to know my work visa is rejected. So that was again a bummer.
That's harsh.
That's, yeah. That was the first time I felt butterflies in my stomach. I remember I was in Bombay because I had to go to Mumbai VFS office to collect my passport. It wasn't disclosed. It was a package. I opened it right there with full of excitement. I was looking for a stamp on my passport. I was flipping pages. I couldn't find one. And then I see this letter of rejection. I'm like, oh my God.
But why was that?
So it was a documentation error. I think my offer letter had a wrong date of joining. Yeah, so very small mistake.
Again, for factors beyond your control.
Factors beyond my control. Yeah.
So you didn't land the job then?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that was a big setback for the entire family.
But wasn't the opportunity of working in some other country still open?
It was. So, and I was very convinced. That's why I was not that heartbroken. I thought, okay, if London did not work out, some other country might, right? And I think that is the time. So I said, okay, Paris is where I could pursue this job in. They were okay, and that is the time I think the terrorist attacks in Paris happened. So the market really went down. Hiring froze there. My application went to Hong Kong. They were keen, but I think language was a barrier. So I think again, a lot of factors came into picture, and I was asked to wait. They were very, very supportive, Dior as a company. They were trying to put my candidature across to every country they could. They said it will take time. And I was sitting at home again, looking at my disappointed parents, that what will happen now, the loan EMIs needed to start. So what else to do? And I think that is the time I thought, look, I need to fight back again. I can just sit and wait for situations to become right. So I started looking for a job on my own. And I think all of those efforts paved the way for me to finally join Louis Vuitton in India.
India?
Yes.
Okay. That's in Delhi. So
that's in Delhi.
What were you doing in LV?
I joined as a manager in training for trying to know how to run the store. Learn all aspects of managing the store, I think.
Fair. For somebody just tuning into the podcast, what message or learning would you give them to retain their attention so that they can stick through till the end of the podcast?
Well, if you're joining right now and you want to know how to crack into a new ecosystem and make it there, some cheat codes are about to be disclosed.
Incredible.
Okay, so LV India happened after that. How was it for you? I mean, you worked there for a year or so?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
पेरिस में डियोर में ऑफर लेके लंदन में वीज़ा रिजेक्ट हुआ उसके बाद इंडिया LV were you feeling like you were better than the other people at LV India?
I think I was trying to focus on myself than trying to observe what other people are doing, because it was a very different setting for me. Luxury in Europe is very different than how it's perceived in India and how it's executed in India as well. It was difficult to settle in because I'm coming from this frame of mind, being exposed to a certain culture of luxury, and I come to India in Delhi and it's different, very different. And I took a fair amount of time to settle in. And when I did, I think things were great. I think I did things which were not done in the LV India store before. For example, I was the expert for watches for Louis Vuitton. I don't think a lot of watches used to be sold yearly because it's not a brand which is known for watches. Right? And I came and I started selling a certain number a month that our reporting zone was Hong Kong. Suddenly they took notice of what's happening in India. Why are watches suddenly selling? And they had to write an email about, inquiring that what's going on.
Okay, can you dive down deeper into this?
I think I connect well with people. I started training people there about how to be good at storytelling, how to connect with people. and that is the key. If there's no communication is just exchange of information. If you don't have that connection, so communication without connection always leaves something always to be done more, right? Space for something more.
Right.
And that's what I saw, that a lot of people coming in the store, people with lots of money will always come in these stores, right? And the person who's selling has all the knowledge and skill to sell. But if they don't, if there's not that moment of instant connection, or if not even instant, if it could be a build-up connection as well. But if it's lacking, somewhere something in the entire ordeal is also lacking, which was very evident to me. And I started, leading by example, because I started selling products which were not sold before, and a lot of them through just talking to people.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And I think my manager took notice of that. I was also told to share this skill or to train other people about it. So what I was doing there, if you ask me, what did I do at LV? I was selling dreams to people, but I was also telling them how to dream.
And that is what luxury brands typically stand for, right?
It's not about what they really want one day. It's also about why should they want it, right? So I think all my conversations were towards telling people about, how to dream about things, why to dream about them. So yeah, not selling dreams directly, but sowing the seeds of how to dream.
Right.
That is what I was doing, and and a major learning I think which I recognized, I think it's a very personal learning for me, is a lot of people with a lot of money are very lonely in life. Now it's a very practical observation over a course of 2 years with a very wide sample set, right? So it could be skewed, but that is my one inference, and it shouldn't be very generalized, but I think that. And when I say lonely, it's not about they don't have people around. They're lonely because they don't have people to talk to connect to, or to connect to in the way they want to. There's a difference, right? You have regular conversations with your partners, but sometimes you would want to speak and be understood in a certain way, right? And you can make out when a person is yearning for that space, right? And when you meet a stranger, you can suddenly open up, right? So that has been one observation, and that also has led somewhere into my next venture in the conceptualization of the need for that. People are lonely everywhere, right? That is one thing, but people also want to be heard. Everybody has a story which is to be shared or heard, right? We're all sitting here with stories.
Yep.
Unheard stories, right? And we'll be happy if we have an audience. I wanted to connect all of these people who have stories with them and to connect them over food. And that is where I think Conosh came into picture, that this is the end goal. We want to connect people, we want to connect their stories. We want to have a shared narrative. And food is a very natural icebreaker.
I'm seeing a pattern in your journey. Things like following your passion, getting into things that normally people don't do, fighting for it, connecting with people, fitting into ecosystems which are not very easy to fit in. Do you think these are some core principles of your personality that have helped you throughout?
I think during the course of speaking today, I have realized that I get bored very easily. I think mediocrity really bores me. And a lot of people are very comfortable being mediocre, and not in a very negative way. What mediocrity for me is having a good 9 to 5 job, a decent salary, a balanced life. But if I do it again and again and again, it becomes monotonous for me as a person. I need more intellectual stimulation. And that's a personal need, right? So yes, my personality, when I speak of that, I get bored with usual things. And maybe that's why I look for challenges. I want to break into ecosystem because that stimulates my intellectual being.
One final pre-Conosh question. So you've done your MBA in France, right? So you've spent in euros.
Yeah.
But when you took that job in
India.
LV,
Yeah.
Delhi,
Yeah.
you were earning in INR.
Yeah.
So how does that add up mathematically? Because that's not a good place to be in.
It wasn't, but then again, I had no choice. It was a situation which I had to take a stand on. I couldn't wait for to be paid in euros or pounds in the same amount as I desired, and because it was a time sensitive situation, so I really had to, I love being an idealist, but then practicality steps in, and it's always an external push. Here it was, I think, very clearly the repayment of my education loan, right? The bank was chasing
Yes.
for EMIs to start. And when that external push came, I had to really think, do I want again a dream job, which might happen after a certain time? Do I have that time? No. Do I take what I have? Yes. So I had to compromise. Yeah.
Okay, so what year was it when you were with LV?
It was 2017 and 18, 2 years.
Okay, and as far as we know, Conosh started in 2019.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you take this decision of starting Conosh? While working at LV or when you left your job? When was it?
Actually, the decision, the foundation happened when I was doing my MBA in Paris. I went to Istanbul with a friend.
Okay.
And that is where, so it was a 3-day trip. And we ate so much food, we met so many people. We used to order with 2 people, but we used to order for 8, a table full of food, which will attract attention from a lot of locals and, tourists as well. Like, are you guys eating alone? Can we join in? We used to invite people because it was a lot of food.
Wow.
We wanted to try everything, a new culture through food. And we'll make friends with them. They'll give recommendations that, they'll refer us to some home chefs that you should go to this person's house. They'll do homemade steak and house wine as well. So over the course of those 3 days, we realized that food has a bigger power to connect people than we think it has. And that was, I think, the first foundation of thinking in the direction of something with food, connection and people should happen, and that we need to do something in this direction. We came back, I started my job, but the thought was always in the back of my mind that this is what is needed to be done. That was a calling. But obviously we had, education loan to be paid off, right? The EMIs to be paid off. So I think after 2 years, I was in a comfortable space that I could take a decision to give up my job and start pursuing what I really want to do.
From living in a country where food is looked as a necessity, I'm not stereotyping my country. I love my country and I have big hopes for the future of this country. But I can be certain when I say this, हिंदुस्तान में खाना एक तरह से necessity माना जाता है, right?
Yeah.
So from that ideology and now taking food into becoming a luxury experience, because Conosh typically stands for that.
Yeah.
What was that journey like?
I think the journey was always to very strongly and tightly hold on to recreating the emotion of, that nostalgia of having a good time with your friends or strangers over food. And, as you said, it's a necessity. So people who really cannot, let's say, afford expensive meals, even when they as a family sit down and have a great meal together, it's not about what was the food. It was about the times they experienced, the feelings, the conversations which happened. And so at any level of life, if you see, food is always a good time, right? People sitting around a dining table, or they're sitting down around one plate and sharing from there, right? Those emotions you can never, create anywhere else. You cannot replicate in other spheres of life.
Right.
And somewhere down the line in today's life, we think we have the money, we have the lifestyle, we have expensive dining tables and dinner sets, but we don't have those good times. Even in a family, everybody is busy, right? We have 2 or more earning members in the family. Parents are old, not given the time they deserve. Everybody is doing their own things. When do everybody come together and have even a single meal in a day? Right?
And
in the India, which is progressing,
right,
because progress needs a lot of time,
it does.
Having a meal together takes a backstage. And I think that's where people really relish these times when they come to our experiences. that it becomes an excuse for all the people, could be friends, cousins, or a community table where just strangers coming together,
Right.
having a good time, and going back with the nostalgia of these are times they used to really live for, as in their past lives as well, be it with family, be it with friends.
Even with Conosh, you are solving something, like how every business does. You're also solving something. You are connecting people over food, and I think that's the tagline for Conosh as well.
Yeah.
I would love to know. We've been a part of many of your food experiences.
Yeah.
I would love to know how is a Conosh luxury dining experience like for our viewers.
Okay. So I think it starts much, much before the viewer gets to eat, months before. We work mostly with a lot of celebrity chefs and credible chefs, and who are very busy in their lives, and who are mostly from far off countries. And we talk to them about coming to India and doing these pop-ups. So this process, because everybody is busy, has a calendar to follow, they have their own businesses to run, it has to fit in, right? So the process starts, the planning starts, I think I'll say typically 4 to 6 months in advance for a dinner,
Okay.
where we had to
For
take...
one dinner, you
Yes.
pre-plan this like 6-7 months back.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is the level of pre-planning, level of detailing which goes into it. Then choosing on to the right time in India when we want to do it. What months. India has a full festival calendar year, right?
Yeah.
One something or the other keeps on happening. We need to be very sensitive about which city we are doing the experience in. What festival is being followed there, is the experience around that, right? Do people consume non-veg during those months or not? A lot of regional factors come into play.
Yep.
So this goes into it. Then where to do it? It has to be a DNA match about the incoming chef or the restaurant replicating or trying to replicate the experience which they can offer in their home restaurant as well. How much can we do it? Very realistically speaking, it's not possible. If a restaurant from Slovenia is coming to India and want to recreate it, yes, don't come to the experience thinking you will get to experience the same experience you had when you had a dinner there.
Right.
What we're trying is to recreate a similar experience, as close to the real one as possible. So setting the expectation very straight there. And then it's a lot of menu planning, because we want the incoming chef to try and give a very authentic taste of their home cuisine to Indians, and not to present India to Indians, which is also a cliche being observed. People get very enthusiastic about this facet, that yes, they're coming from a certain cuisine background and they would want to present how they perceive India and serve that to Indians. But I think what our diners mostly appreciate is having a very authentic dining experience, because they are coming here to eat what they could have had when they visited the chef in the restaurant. So we try and stick to that, and that needs a lot of ingredient planning as well, right? A lot of local ingredients chefs needs to get.
Right.
Sometimes they want a very specific cut of meat or poultry or seafood which is not available in India, and then we strive hard on figuring out the supply chain of how to source that ingredient with different partners, with our hotel partners, our sourcing partners. Then to match this entire experience, how to elevate it with a great a beverage. Could be a wine pairing, could be a whiskey pairing as well. So the entire experience is really complete for you, right? So all of this is a very time-taking process. A lot of things needs to be aligned for things to happen in a certain timeline, and all of these things to happen till the date of the dinner is happening.
So, how did you go about convincing these world-class chefs to be a part of Conosh?
I think that's where the cheat code comes into picture, which I was talking about, into breaking into new ecosystems. I think the cheat code is to show up. If you're required, if you're not required, just be there. If you want to be in an ecosystem, be there. Don't wait for you to be incorporated into it, into the ways you think are the right ways, which I'm not saying they're wrong ways as well.
That's incredible, actually. We spend a lot of time thinking of if we are accepted, what could go wrong.
Yeah.
That's a great cheat code. That's a mental cue.
It's a cue, exactly. Like I remember, there used to be all these events, where all the important people used to come, and then showing up, it was the only thing I could do. If I want to be there, then go there, right? So I kept on doing that, and today, I'm invited at those places. I hang out with the same people. But if I did not start pursuing this, if I kept on thinking in my mind that one day I want to go there, but how? Don't waste time in thinking on the how. Go there, be there, and then think on the next step. So I think that is what I kept on doing.
There's a great analogy where you reverse the tables also, right? When you talk about your trip to Istanbul, where you are the one curating food and are inviting people to be part of that ecosystem.
Exactly.
Now somebody else is doing that, but you are telling yourself and cueing yourself to be open to the experience where you could connect in reverse.
Exactly. So I think to manifest those, and then don't waste time in manifesting it more. The first manifestation and then execute it.
Right.
So being there, I think.
Right.
That is
I really want to know here, how difficult was the acceptance initially?
It was because I had no background from I don't have a background from hospitality. A lot of times people confuse me as a chef because if I talk food a lot, but I have no technical knowledge about these things. It's all observation, right? It's if you want to be a fashion stylist, for example, not one day somebody will come and give you these certain medals, or you have to do the certifications, you're done. It is very inherent. It's a lot of subconscious learning as well, right? If you have been flipping through fashion magazines since you were a kid, for example, you had a keen eye for films and music, right? That entire culture, and you could pick up cues of what looks good. It has been it's an upbringing process, I'll say, right? Where you bring yourself to this stage that you say that, okay, I understand what's good and what's not. It's the same thing with food as well. Yes, you can learn about it. It's a great way. I am unfortunate I did not get the chance to pursue it formally. But if I did not have that, I cannot stop, right? Now, my education is, the world is my school now, right? I travel to countries, I eat at restaurants, I meet chefs. That is my education, that is the process. Because I couldn't get a formal degree, I have undertaken this process of now learning on the ground, right? So that's what I'm doing now.
And that has its own charm.
It does. It's very real. I think the learnings are not very articulated. In a course, you obviously know what is the next step, what is the amount of learning you can have right now. It's all measured. Learning is measured when you do it in a formal ecosystem.
Right.
But over one meal, you can learn great amounts of things which you couldn't do over 10 more meals, or traveling to other countries. And sometimes traveling to one country opens you so much more about your receptiveness to food and new ideas, to experimentation, or just basic knowledge that you are like, oh, I did not know this, right? So it could be a long process, it could be an instantaneous insight as well. And that is what real world is all about, right? Sometimes you meet people and you take back a long-term learning you're striving for, or it could be an impulsive takeaway that, oh, I should be doing that. It's the same thing.
Right.
You know what I love the most about the inception of Conosh? It is that, very rare businesses, they start with a thought and then build their businesses over it. Like, for example, you started with the thought of connecting people over food and then started Conosh.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses, 99% of the businesses do it the other way around, I think, which is wrong. They first think of the industry, which is booming, to get into.
Yeah.
They start the business, they think of the name, and then they think of the tagline, which suits their kind of business. But here, it was the tagline first, which was actually the core principle of the business, and then Conosh came into picture.
I think it was a very niche level of problem solving in some way.
Yeah. And I think traveling the world helped you.
It still
find
is.
it?
I mean, it's a long process.
It
I mean,
is.
it's not a long process, I'll say. It's a ongoing process. Like learning shouldn't stop. Yes, I think this is my school now, so I cannot stop going to this school, right? So learning needs to happen.
What all chefs have been a part of Conosh till date?
I think a lot of them. We have a lot of chefs on our roster. I think last year we started with the bang with Chef Anna Ross, who's a 3-star Michelin chef from Slovenia. I think it's number 3 on the world's best chef awards list as well. We got Alex Dilling, who's a 2-star Michelin chef from London. To recently, we got Chef Rodolfo Guzman from Chile, and he runs this restaurant called Borago. Exceptional meal. I mean, what he recreated here, he got 100 kgs of local ingredients to India. He flew them to recreate a similar experience which he could have in his restaurant.
Wow.
And then I think I'm very proud of doing a collaboration with Gucci Australia. Because coming from a fashion and luxury background.
Oh, that is a great connect
Yeah.
of luxury and food.
It took a while, I think. It took a long time for it to be executed. But yeah, it was a very happy and proud moment for me.
So was it always in your mind?
That one day I have to do something with a luxury brand's foray into food. And yeah, this happened very, very organically as well. So I was in Florence. I went to Gucci Osteria Florence. I had an amazing meal. And the conversation started from there on, that we
So
should
you
do.
mean to say Gucci already has restaurants in the world?
Yes, so the brand Gucci has a strategic partnership with Chef Massimo Bottura, and together they have opened this restaurant IP called Gucci Osteria de Massimo Bottura. And they have 4 restaurants. One is in Seoul, in South Korea, one is in Tokyo, in Florence, and one is in US, in LA. Yeah.
And you got them to India?
I got the Gucci Osteria Seoul to India to do a 2-day pop-up.
Incredible.
Yes.
Okay, this makes me think, what is the ROI of these experiences for Conosh? Because what I'm listening from you is a lot goes into planning this.
Yeah.
And since it's just 1 or 2 experiences, what is the ROI like? How do you do your business?
So the ROI is really spread on all of the aspects of the business we do. Right? So I would like to say that as Conosh, we started as a brand for home dining experiences, where we used to work with home chefs and get a bunch of strangers to their home to have a meal over their food narrative. We did these experiences and pop-ups in 2019 before COVID hit, and then we had to pivot. We pivoted to online learning, which is culinary learning. We hold a lot of live classes, approx I think 20 a month, and we do it online. And that is a major part of the business, the culinary learning aspect.
Okay.
Then we moved into, and it has been a natural progression always. I think after COVID, we started doing physical learning classes as well. So we used to fly down our domestic chefs to different cities and hold these 2 to 3 day baking workshops, which are very intense. You spend your time with the chef and get to know intricacies of how to bake. And during all of these sessions, I used to always talk to the customers for feedback, like, what is the next thing you're looking for? What else can we do for you? Are you hungry for more in this sector? So I think during one of these physical workshops which I attended, I spoke to people, and they're like, it's good to learn from the local artists, but can we also learn from international chefs? And that is where I think we did our first demo workshop with Chef Gary Megan, the ex-judge from MasterChef Australia. We flew him down to India. We did a 3-city tour, Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore. We did workshops with him, and it was like sold out in no time. And we were very happy and excited. And yes, I went and spoke to a lot of people, like, what do you feel about it? We did a couple of more such workshops, and then people were like, it's good to learn from him or more celebrity chefs, but can we have their food? Because they have always seen their food on television. It looks very appetizing and very unique. And to have a chance to savor that would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Right.
So we said, okay, why not? And that is how we forayed into dining experiences. So then we got in Chef Matt, Gary and George, all 3 judges for MasterChef Australia, the ex-judges. And we did dinner experiences with them. And then, I spoke to a lot of the diners about what is the next thing. And they were like, it's good to have a celebrity chef's food, but can we have a Michelin and 50 best chefs as well? Because India does not have Michelin, and very handful of 50 best restaurants as well. And today's Indian traveler is very well exposed. They know the chefs by their names, they know their restaurants, they know what accreditations they have, what accolades they have. So people are way more knowledgeable about the entire foodscape than they were before, pre-COVID.
Right. So could you tell us what is Michelin all about, and how does Michelin rate its chefs and restaurants?
Sure. I don't know if a lot of people would know. Michelin is a French tire manufacturer company, and they make tires. That's their main product. And in 1900s, they published the first Michelin guide to promote more car travel.
Okay.
Right. I mean, if you have a guide which tells you where to go for more experiences, restaurants. It also had maps for gas stations, for movement. I mean, if you're out, you refer to the guide and you go to the next step, right? So if you're using the tires, there'll be, you'd want to purchase more someday. So the guide was as a way to encourage car travel, to promote their product. And in 1920s, they were more serious about it when they took the restaurant rating reservation. In 1920s, they got a bit more serious about the restaurant rating system. Okay. So there are 3 stars: 1 star, 2 star, and 3 star. 1 star is great cooking, and 2 star is excellent cooking, worth a detour. 3 star is exceptional cooking, worth a journey. So if you see, their nomenclature is also about movement, travel, right? And that is how they retained that nomenclature, I think. So it's very strange. And today, it's an institution in itself.
This is fascinating. I'm sure not many of us knew that Michelin, which is related to food, ultimately falls back to that tire company.
Yeah. How Michelin operates is, it has a lot of anonymous Michelin inspectors who are well versed with all the aspects of food, the restaurant, the ambience, and there are a lot of criteria. So they go and they have a meal, they rate the restaurants, and that's how the ratings come into play.
And why does the Michelin rating system does not work in India?
I think so. Michelin comes fully prepared when they enter a country, and I think India is a very, very big country. To have standardization in India to the level that people accept a clear-cut demarcation on the 3 different stars, I think it's more of a preparation from us than them.
Okay.
I think that's my personal view. When we are ready, I think that might happen.
How soon do you think India will have its first Michelin star restaurant or a chef?
I think the way the things are going, the foodscape in India is really getting elevated. A lot of great restaurants are opening up, chefs who are taking more exposure and coming back to their roots after global exposure, coming back and opening great restaurants. So people are preparing well. Michelin or no Michelin, I think they want to be at the same level as any of their global counterpart. So I think a standardization in a global viewpoint is what we should strive for, than just a Michelin or any other body to come and rate us. If we are at the same level, why won't it happen, right? So to look at India that we are not ready, we should just work on that. We should be ready, be at par, the same level with any of the other cuisine or gastronomic countries in the world.
Right. What does a Conosh experience typically costs a person who wants to attend?
We're building an ecosystem where if you're a foodie, you can just order a meal from one of the home chefs around you for as little as $300 to $500. If you are hungry to learn more, you can take a class from Conosh, an online class or a physical class, under 1,000 rupees. And if you want to come for a premium dining experience, it starts at around, I'll say 8,000 to 9,000, and I think the most expensive one we've done was 40,000 per seat.
Okay. We've seen a recent surge in luxury restaurants, especially in the metro cities of India. How does a Conosh experience differentiate or differs from a fine dining or luxury dining experience here in Mumbai or Delhi or any other metro city?
I think it's a unique proposition what we offer, because we especially fly the chef for those 2 days or a single day of dinner. In a luxury restaurant, which is already popular, the same menu is happening for a long time. It's always there. Accessibility is the question, right? You can always access this favorite restaurant of yours, but the chef we are getting it just exclusively for a pop-up. You can only get in the country for those 2 days. People fly in from different cities to come and have that meal. So exclusivity is what we are offering.
Okay.
And yes, I mean, a lot of restaurants have standardized their menus to the Indian palate. And as I said before, we are still striving to present an authentic taste of what we have, that leeway of customization to us, how authentic we want to keep the meal. So, in a restaurant, you have to be more commercials driven, and wide acceptance is what is required. But we deal to a very niche audience. So we can curate the entire experience. Then we can let the audience lead it. I think that's the differentiator.
Right. In an ideal world, if there were no limits, no budget constraints, no logistical challenges, what would the ultimate Conosh experience look like?
I think all the great experiences you want to hold on to are the ones you realize are slipping away in the moment. So I would want to do something called before sunset.
Okay.
Like a golden hour experience, setting a long table over a great meal, lots of strangers, community table, everybody getting to know each other, and they know that this is all only for a set time, and the golden hour passes and they wouldn't be reliving this experience again. So I think one of the best sunsets I've ever witnessed is in a city called Sintra in Portugal.
Okay.
And I think I would want to lay a long table there right by the coast and do a Conosh experience there, I think.
Okay. So, do you think इंडिया में पहले लोगों के पास मूवी देखने के अलावा ज़्यादा ऑप्शंस होते नहीं थे एक्सपीरियंस करने के लिए? नाउ थिंग्स आर चेंजिंग वेरी फास्ट. People have a lot to do in terms of experiences particularly. So do you think that plays a role in Conosh's growth somewhere?
Definitely. I think the experience economy is booming at this point of time. Post-COVID, people have had a lot of revenge travel, which has greatly exposed them to all the experiences which exist in the world. I mean, if they haven't really experienced them, at least they're aware about them now. So when they come back to their own country, they want the similar experiences to be offered to them, and hence you see all the concerts happening, for example, right? All the tours, all the great music tours are coming to India because people refuse to settle for anything lesser now. They have claimed their right for these experiences because they're more aware. Same is the insight for food experiences as well. If people know that home dining experiences or dine with the local is a concept outside, they expect it to be seamlessly be available to them in a great hotel stay in India, for example. If you're in Goa or a Kerala, dine with the local is offered right now to international guests, right? So that paves a lot of cleaner way for Conosh as we are trying to champion experiences and pop-ups which are at international level of the same scale.
So do you think it's mostly because people are more aware now, or it's also because the whole GDP is increasing, maybe per capita is increasing?
Yeah, they have more disposable incomes, and what else to do with that? It's just like, the peak of consumption is experience. It starts with commodities, right? And then experiences are something which you really can't buy. So people want to go for money, can't buy experiences with all the extra money they have. So
Right.
I would really want to know, in this premium experiences business, how do you cater to scalability?
it's already a niche market. And if you scale a niche market, it doesn't remain niche. So at this point of time, while we are doing great with our experiences, we are already doing a lot many of these experiences than what we can really handle, I'll say, as a team. We're trying to expand, we're trying to do a lot more than, what we're doing currently. But if we, the current paradox is if we try and scale it more, will it still remain that exclusive? So I think we are still trying to figure that out while we are doing these experiences.
So scalability is still a strategy that is to be cracked at Conosh.
At an overall level, no. I mean, as a brand, we are doing a lot more things. There are other verticals as well. There's learning, which we really want to expand. Already because it's all digital, the reach is immense. That
Right.
could be scaled to, let's say, a culinary institute where all these incoming chefs who do pop-ups,
Right.
they come and do guest lectures as well, right? So in terms of learning, there's a lot more scalability possible. But to keep something which is very premium, as premium is, I think, the key for right now.
Right.
And we see as we go along, how much to scale them.
Right. A big part of your experience is inviting the best from the world to India. Please tell us more about how you take the best from India to the rest of the world.
Oh, we're already doing that.
Okay.
So, as a company, we function as a bridge between international culinary talents to India, but also we take Indian talents abroad. For example, we worked with Chef Prateek Sadhu from NAR. We did an event with him in Sydney as part of Vivid Sydney series. We took Chef Manish Mehrotra from Indian Accent, who's the ex-chef now from Indian Accent, to Melbourne Food and Wine Festival. We worked with Chef Niyati Rao from Eka from Mumbai, and we took her to Nadodi in Kuala Lumpur. So we do work with remarkable Indian talents as well, and we try and portray them in the right way at the right time in international market as well. So we're striving for that. In fact, Indian food is having a moment in itself. I'll say modern Indian food.
100%.
Not just Indian food, but take Chef Himanshu Saini from Tresin Studio. It's a 2-star Michelin restaurant from Dubai. I mean, the world is bowing down to his culinary skills for Indian food, which is great for all of us, right? If one person is leading this way, it's not good for just them. It's good for the entire nation's cuisine. Indian cuisine is being recognized. And modern Indian does really good, I think, with a lot of global audience, is because if anybody can give... So Indian food, is very... is short of convenience, I'll say. We are used to having a lot of gravies and curries and lentils and veggies, dry and, in different forms, and maneuver them, the quintessential thali.
Yep.
Right? We are very used to a thali. If we don't get a balanced thali, she'll have a yogurt, a salad, chapatis, rice, 2 vegetables, lentil. We can maneuver our way through it. But if you serve that to a foreign national, they'll be slightly overwhelmed, one. They'll be confused what goes with what, right? We don't have to think. We can have a conversation. Our hand directly knows what goes where, right? The combinations. So if we are giving such a difficult piece of plate to somebody and expect them to appreciate it, there are a lot more feelings than they'll encounter before the appreciation comes in, right? And this chef who's trying to make all of it into a bite-sized thing and giving it to you. Right? So Indian food with convenience.
Right.
Don't get your hands dirty. Take a bite of it. It's not heavy on your stomach. So what best can, is there.
So I believe not just Indian food, Indian liquor is also picking up a lot.
Yes.
With the new names like Indri, Godavan. They've been making names in the global market. Do you think the Indian bar scene will also pick up as the food scene is increasing?
It's already buzzing, I'll say. Thanks to, I think, the ambition of a lot more restaurateurs and bar owners who are wanting to open new concepts. And the bar scene is really going forward because we do a lot of bar takeovers as well. And the kind of audience which come for these bar takeovers, they're hungry and they're yearning for different kinds of cocktails to be served. Not just in terms of recipes or curation, but also if a bar from a different country, an exotic location is coming up, that itself stirs so many emotions that what are they going to experience today? So bar takeovers, for example, is a saturated market already, right? But we try and get the best there is to India. So people in the Indian market also learn. It's a very symbiotic process. When it's a bar shift happening, the host bar also learns a lot in terms of how to curate cocktails, what are the mixes being used, what are the ingredients to be worked on. And India is a point of interest right now globally.
100%.
I think in my last trip to Paris, I went to this bar called Danico. It's on the world's 50 best list, and I was really looking forward to their drinks. I went, I sat, and they gave me a menu. It said we are doing an India-inspired menu.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm like, but I came for your menu, right? They don't know this is running for next 2 months now. So, our ingredients, we are trying to mix their culture with ours now. Our ingredients are a point of fascination as well.
Right.
So, the West has always been looking at East in terms of culture.
Yeah.
For example, yoga. The entire West is inspired by the yoga. But meditation. I would say we need and our culture needs more awareness in terms of, how do we approach to our roots? Because yoga became popular when Americans started doing yoga. The same way Indian food, the way we have it, like you said, there's so much on the thali.
Yeah.
It needs more awareness. Do you think we are lacking somewhere in the awareness side of things?
Yes, we are. But I think the way to that is not making people sit down, making them aware. The means to that end has to be different. And the approach, for example, the chefs who are pushing for modern Indian food, that is their way of educating. You cannot tell them, like, have a thali to know what a thali tastes like, right? Like, for example, we have something called an Ona Sadhya, which is like 21 items on a banana leaf spread. And Chef Himanshu does a dish which is the entire Onam Sadhya put together into a single small dish.
Wow.
Right, with all the condiments, with formed in different ways to put together that. That's their way of educating and making the world more aware. So the approach needs to change. The mission is still the same, but then adapt to the approach what they're easy to accommodate and accept.
So do you think people like you and the company like Conosh is pivotal in making this shift?
In our own ways, yes, we are trying very hard for people getting more aware about different cuisines. And it's not just limited to popular chefs. For example, we did a pop-up with a Georgian chef. Now, he does not have a Michelin Star, or he's not on any of the lists, but he is a chef who's known as a custodian of Georgian cuisine.
Okay.
For that sake, we thought the real authentic cuisine of Georgia needs to be witnessed by Indians. So we worked with him, we got him to Bangalore, we did a pop-up, and it was one of the best pop-ups we have ever done, right? Because he served it from his heart. That thing, the culture of it also has to come out, not just the food. So, yes, I think we're trying to push the envelope.
Where do you see the entire experience economy of India going in the next 5 years?
I think just in the direction where people will have good experiences to choose from at a given point of time. Right now, you have a choice of 3 to 4 experiences to choose from on a weekend, but then you have a clear-cut winner already. You can differentiate between a mediocre experience and a good experience. So your decision is very clear. I would want to see a time when I am thrown with options, 4 to 5 options which are equally good. And then I'm struggling to make a choice, where do I go and what do I miss out on? So I think the scale will be the same. The quality of offerings has to improve.
But do you think accessibility is also a problem because of the population?
There's a very limited set of people who are trying to already pursue this as a customer as well. So we are dealing with only that percentage of people. We are not even catering to everybody. So if that set of audience is satisfied and they have enough options, then it trickles down to the next level.
If you have to distill everything you've learned over the years into one piece of advice for budding entrepreneurs, what would that be?
That advice would be to take charge of your narrative. Whether it's your own business, whether it's your personal branding, how people perceive your business and in their heads can build up this entire narrative about it. And then if they are your brand evangelist, they go and speak about it. If they're impressed by it, if they want to be part of it, everything can go wrong if you don't instill the same philosophy or the same passion or the right message which you want to give to the people. So you need to take charge. You have to always hold on to that narrative and you have to keep rechecking on that. Has it left your hands? Is the audience totally handling your narrative now? So you have to take it back. Be in charge.
How do you look into marketing your product or services? Because you don't have case studies to fall back to. You're in a country where this is something new, right? And you can't look back to what countries in the West are doing, right? Because that's a very different market. So how do you typically look at marketing your product and service? Because it's an expensive service at the end of the day.
It's mostly about reaching the right people at the right time. And our audience is very intelligent that way. Most of the time they find us and they talk about us. Word of mouth is great. A lot of people refer other people to come for these experiences. And lastly, we do a very non-aggressive way of marketing these events, which is also what luxury is about. It does not have to be in your face. right? So people refer other people. We talk to our customers a lot. Feedback is a way. Feedback is our way of getting into our customers' head, and then stay there.
Okay.
So I think that
From
is
a
how we do
business perspective, are your events always a sellout, or you feel there are times when you don't get enough footfall?
No, it's always a sellout.
Always a
Sometimes
sellout.
it might take more time. So I think time sensitivity is what we can always debate on. But eventually, yeah, everything is a sellout because see, it's about demand and supply. The large set of people looking for experiences versus a 150-seater event, right? People who are booking, they talk to other people. So it's about if the chef is really popular, people jump onto the opportunity.
Right.
If you're doing a new cuisine, people take their time to understand, okay, why are they doing this? They put a lot of insights on their own. They call us and they ask us,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
What is the menu about? Why are you getting this chef? You know,
Okay.
what's on the menu? So sometimes they take an intellectual angle. I think it's a very city-specific question as well.
Right. Right.
For example, Delhi and Bombay, they really think through their hearts when it comes to food.
Right.
Bangalore might take a slightly more intellectual viewpoint in terms of, oh, okay, this is a chef, this is the cuisine, you know. Would you do this? Would the chef have this iconic dish done or not? A lot more interest in these questions, and they want to be more informed. It's an informed decision which they take, and it's not an impulsive choice of heart decision when it comes to this.
You said initially that being present for these events is a part of your business because it's important for you to be present there, meet people, and talk to them about how you can do business with them in the future. Does personal branding play an important role?
It does. I think it does play a very important role for everybody, not just for me or you. If you don't represent your brand, your company, your goals, what's your mission, why you even at a certain place, people will, again, the narrative will flow out of your hands. So if you want to, really push forward something you really stand for, you need to present at those places, you need to meet the right people, you need to tell them what are you doing there. And it takes time. It really takes time to enter a new ecosystem, introduce yourself, for people to think you are relevant in that ecosystem, for people to judge you on a lot of factors. But if you are consistent, I think eventually the message passes on.
Okay.
People see you through.
Okay. I want to talk more about the intellectual property that you're creating. You've onboarded the OG MasterChef Australia judges, Gary, Matt, and George.
Yeah.
And you're creating a new intellectual property called India's Ultimate Home Chef.
Yeah.
Where did that idea begin?
I think it all started when we wanted to give back to our community, because a lot of these food stories are very unheard. They are not widely known to people. The biggest difference Conosh would make in a home chef's life is to push them or to be their companion in the journey from the kitchen to the living room. If you see all our moms, people who make great food at home, they're restricted to the kitchens. While people who savor it are in the living room, they never get complimented. People are cooking, and to bridge that gap, to push people who are cooking to come to the living room, hold the narrative, tell the people the stories behind what is being cooked, what are the passed on recipes, is a mission we really take it to our heart to. Right, that will make a difference in every household. And with that came the inclination of why just the living room? The journey has to be kitchen to the living room to the big screen.
Right.
And we wanted to get all of these unheard, unspoken stories to the forefront, and we decided let's do a show where my team travels to all the cities in India. We do local tastings with anybody who wants to participate. They have to cook a meal and get for tasting. And the finale, we get it done in a city where Matt, Carrie and George, the ex-MasterChef Australia judges, they come and they judge the finale. So I think people feel really motivated to present their cuisine. And during this show, I think we have tasted some dishes which we did not even hear about earlier. Me as an Indian also, there's so much more to see and learn.
100%.
And these instances are the one which make it all worthwhile, that somebody from a small city wants to really push for this recipe which is passed on to them from different generations, and want people to know about it. So
with the success of the first season of Ultimate Home Chef of India, are we going to see more?
Definitely. I think season 2 we've already shot, and it's under production. And yeah, you'll soon see it at a channel.
So are you also planning more IPs like Ultimate Home Chef of India?
Yes, we are thinking on building a lot more IPs which we can carry on, because the impact which these IPs can have, it doesn't happen in a single season or single episode. It takes time to build over and over, and a constant recall. For example, if you see 5 seasons of Ultimate Home Chef of India, this notion that home recipes should be respected more than popular Western recipes we go for to have in our favorite restaurant. If the local recipes get those respect, the home chefs will get those respect. Tomorrow you might end up going to a pop-up which is done by a local home chef as part of a 5-star hotel's offering, right? And you'll feel really nice about it. So it will take time to build that impact, I'll say.
So can we say Conosh is getting into the content creation side of business as well?
That is the aim. Everything what we do is content oriented. We want people, it's more immersive content, I'll say. The classes which we take, the experiences which we do, the homemade food which is out for delivery, the home-based pop-ups, all the content we want people to be a part of, and not just as a viewer, but as a person who can experience the food and all of this. So the entire aim is to drive this content and for people to be a part of the content.
Conosh is big on connecting people with food, right? I would love to know any of your particular favorite stories where any of your pop-ups have helped people connect with each other and create memories that they can fall back to.
Beyond just that particular dining experience.
Sure. I think the initials when the brand started with the home dining experiences, I used to be part of every experience which has ever happened. And to see what people come in as strangers with so much awkwardness, this aura about them that we are here to just eat food, yes, with strangers. How will that be? And when they go back home, they go back as friends. And to see that entire conversion of strangers to friends is always very, very rewarding to see. But one of my favorite stories is from a Andhra home chef's house. There was this one guy who used to come. I think he's attended 4 to 5 of her pop-ups. And I think this was the 5th time. Everybody went home. It was a lunch experience. And I usually stay back, to help the home chef and to ask them the feedback and stuff like that. And this person stayed back. And we were just having tea. And that person started talking to the home chef about his dad, who passed away 2 months back.
Okay.
And he's been coming to these pop-ups and connecting with her. And I think after the 5th pop-up, he sat down and he really opened up and he broke down. And he said, I really find solace in your company, in your food.
Wow.
And that was really moving for me. Right? Silently being attached to her food, and then coming to terms that he was open enough to come forward and speak about it. It takes a lot of strength, and to see this entire story, in front of my eyes unfold was really moving. So, I mean, there are a lot of emotional angles. There are people who have met and taken businesses ahead as well. Business prospects meet and they try and engage as well. So,
nice.
So, since you've been traveling a lot to all these different countries, what is the perception about India globally?
I can speak in terms of how the chefs or the people I want to work with perceive India as. It does take a bit of conviction for me to speak to them about why is it a value add for them to come to India. So when we started working with international chefs, it used to be a lot more intense in terms of convincing people. But as we have worked more and more, people have really seen the kind of value we add and they get. For example, when Chef Anna Ross came to India, who's from Slovenia, it was a 15-day itinerary we planned for her. This was 4 dinners in 2 cities. We took her to Khadi Bauli, which is the biggest spice market in Asia, which is in Old Delhi. It was my first time there as well, and it was intense. It was intense for all of us, to see all those ingredients and spices and to interact with people. We took her to Sassoon Docks in Mumbai to see, where the early morning fresh seafood arrives at, so she can choose what to do. So we took her to a lot more cultural integration, to local markets. So people get inspired. I think more than anything else, they get inspired how to take inspiration from India to go back and add it to their menu, to their life in some way. And as some of the bigger chefs have popularized this entire thing, everybody is now very keen in terms of India has a lot to offer. India is in spotlight.
100%.
So now people are seeing an inspiration-led value definitely beyond, I think, other factors which they want to come to India for.
A controversial question coming up.
Okay.
How would you rate Indian cuisine in comparison to the best in the world?
Oh, I love Indian cuisine. I think the more I travel, the more I am getting prouder of what we do. What we play such complex, we play with such complex flavors and make it look so simple. And when people from the West come in and they're like, how do you do this layering of flavors? How do you work with tons of ingredients and spices and still make the dish look like that simple? Right. So the more I'm traveling, the more exposed I'm getting to the world cuisine, I'm getting more proud of the work we are doing at home as well.
And have you ever come across any country or any place where there are such diverse food options, or it's just India?
Everybody has diverse ingredients and flavors to play with, but the way we do it, nobody else does that. So, the offering is the same. I'll say in terms of what everybody has got with them, I'm not talking about the same ingredients, but a fair share of things to play with. But the mastery of Indians in playing with flavors, in layering of flavors is truly unique and it's remarkable.
After studying overseas, you've done your MBA from France, right? So after studying overseas, it would have been a natural first step to continue working, right?
Yeah.
You got a job in London, but for some reason you couldn't go there, right? So you took an opportunity, worked in Louis Vuitton, Delhi for some time, for a couple of years. At that point of time, it would have made a lot more sense for you to continue working or probably travel overseas again. But from that aspect, from there on, you took a big risk. While you're taking a student loan, you took a big risk and you started a new company, an experiential startup, which is risky and new, I would say. How did you find the courage to take that decision?
I think more than courage, it's about finding your purpose. The more time you are on this planet, I think every day you are waiting to find your purpose. The earlier you find it, the sooner you can act on it. So I'm lucky I found my purpose maybe after my stint in Delhi and I acted upon it. So it's just about finding or acknowledging that you have found your purpose. So I think for me that was through Conosh, connecting people, building stories, having a food narrative.
So I really want to know, what is the most important lesson that you learned while connecting people, about people?
That everybody has a story which needs to be heard and they're looking for the right person to share it with.
A few questions to put you on the spot.
Okay,
let's make this rapid fire. If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
I have a flight to New York tonight.
Okay. Your favorite cheat meal on a busy day?
Homemade parathas.
Langar or a fine dining experience in India?
My mom's cooked meal.
Okay.
Nice. So are you an early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Okay. The one app you open first thing in the morning?
WhatsApp. I mean, so many groups. Everybody is, I think, learning how to maneuver them.
The best food blog in the world?
I don't refer to food blogs. Lot of individual opinions. It's a lot of noise.
Okay,
the last. Fighter pilot or a Conosh entrepreneur?
Conosh entrepreneur.
Lovely.
Nice.
Cool. So with this, we are towards the end of our podcast.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming on the show.
It was great having you. It's a busy day for you. I know you have a flight tonight,
Yes.
but you still made it. Thank you so much for that.
No, it was a fun session. Yeah, sometimes
We had great fun too.
Yeah, self-talk is had through podcasts. So thank you for that.
Yeah, we look forward to attending.
So while we wrap this, Utsar has one last question for you.
One more.
Just
Yes.
last.
So we do this with every guest, where we ask the guest on a podcast to leave a question that the guest in the next podcast would answer.
Okay. I think I would want to ask them to play two truths and a lie.
Okay.
And I would want them to cite some personal challenges which they have gone through in this entire journey of entrepreneurship, which the world doesn't know of. Because I think that is what makes an entrepreneur. There's so many challenges and people don't get to know them and people are not even comfortable sharing. But that could be really inspiring for a lot of people like me. And a good way is to say two truths and a lie and let the people think.
I think that's one of the best questions I've ever heard.
Yeah. So let's see. I'm looking forward to the answers from the next.
We are as well.
And this is how we'll close an infinite loop. We'll try to connect our guests together.
Okay. All the best,
All right.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.